So, dear students, so today our topic is medulla oblongata. So, it is one of the important parts of the brain or brainstem. So, it was involved in the to regulate the various functions. Okay, because it is having the various vital centers. So, those are involved in the regulations of the blood pressure, regulations of heart rate, as well as regulations of the respiration, and also the regulations of the diameters of the blood vessels. So, diameters of blood vessels play an important role in the regulations of the blood pressure. If it is a fail to regulate the diameter of blood pressure, then only we are suffering from the high blood pressure or hypertension. So that diameters of the blood vessels, so that was also regulated by the group of nuclei or neurons. So those are present in the medulla oblongata. So that's why, so medulla oblongata, it is one of the main parts of the brain or brainstem. So that was involved in the regulations of the variety of the vital organ functions, majorly involved in the regulations of the blood pressure as well as the respirations. So now we go for regarding the medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata, also known as the medulla, is one of the three regions of the makeup of the brainstem. So brainstem, it is made by a diencephalon, then pons, and as well as the medulla oblongata. So brainstem, it mainly concentrate on the to control the blood pressure or vital organ functions. And somewhere the brainstem, it acts as the intermediators between the both hemisphere or between the different parts of the body or between the cerebrum and cerebral cortex or between the spinal cord and brain. So that is the work of the brainstem. It is acts as the intermediators to convey message are too helpful for to interconnect each other the different parts of the brain. Among them, the medulla is the one of the main part. So it is also involved in the regulations of the vital functions. Okay, so exact the locations of the medulla is, it is just below the midbrain or below the pons, and the extended parts of the medulla oblongata is a spinal cord. Okay, so after medulla oblongata, the spinal cords will be the begin. So that's why the spinal cord was known as the extended parts of the medulla or medulla oblongata. And upper parts, so the medulla, it consists of the pons, and side it will be having the cerebellums. Okay, so regarding the shape, it is a conical in shape. It is look like a conicals. So regarding the size, it is having 3 centimeter long, and in the wider side, okay, the maximum wide is a 2 centimeters, because the conical plus conical look like a shape. So that's why, so in the wider side it is the maximum, so its wide is a 2 centimeter wide, and the long is the 3 centimeters. So that is one of the small parts of the brainstem, but it can regulate the variety of the functions. So regarding the features, the medulla oblongata, it can conduct the many ascending and descending nerve tracts. Okay, it can allow the passage of the ascending as well as descending nerve tracts. So these nerve tracts, so these are helpful for to regulations of the motor activity, or these tracts are mainly involved in the to create the connections between the different parts of the brain, so that of with the spinal cord. So spinal cord, it was mainly involved in the to regulations of the motor activities or locomotions with the help of the various nerve stimuli. So they can came from the there is the brain, different parts of the brain, and here the spinal cord, it can interconnected with the different parts of the brain. According to that only, it was involved in the regulations of the somatic activities. So with the help of the track, that is the ascending and as well as the descending tracks. So these are the main pathway of the spinal cord. So they were the helpful for regulations of the somatic activity that are connected with the different parts of the brain, and those pathway was conduct by the ascending, that is the by the medulla oblongata, regarding the ascending as well as the descending nerve tract. These are nothing but these are the pathway. So those pathway, so they are helpful for the transmissions of the convey of the motor and sensory neurons in the spinal cord. So that was shared with the one interneurons or one neuron, that was the any one part of the brain. So that tracks was conducted by a medulla oblongata. So that's why the medulla oblongata, it was play an important role in the regulations of the contraction and relaxations of the skeletal muscles. And whatever locomotions are there, so they are mainly depending on the contraction, relaxation of skeletal muscle as well as our inspiration, expression. So these are also mainly depending upon the contraction and relaxation of the our skeletal muscle. So those who are conduct are regulated by the medulla oblongata. And as well as, so medulla oblongata, it is a vital house for the various functions, or it is mainly involved in the regulations of the various vital organ functions. So regarding, it was involved in the regulations of heart rate as well as blood pressure and breathing. So these are the major functions of the medulla oblongata. So whatever heart rate are there, so they are mainly depending upon the conditions of the medulla oblongata or regulated by medulla oblongata. Then even blood pressure and the breathing. So these are regulated by the medulla oblongata. So now we can go further regarding the centers of the medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata, so it consists of a variety of the centers and as well as various nuclei. So regarding the centers, so they are mainly classified in two types. There is a vital centers. So these centers mainly control the vital organ functions. On non-vital centers, some functions are there. So there is, they are regulated in our body or present in our body, but they are not exactly one vital organ was involved, and such activities are known as the non-vital activities or functions. So those are regulated by the non-vital center. These are also present in the medulla oblongata. So regarding the vital centers, so medulla oblongata, it mainly consists of the cardiac centers. So many time during the study of the heart and related its functions regarding the regulations of blood pressure, I told you regarding the cardiovascular center, that is CVC, that is nothing but cardiac center. So this CVC is present in the medulla oblongata, and this CVC, the cardiovascular center, involved in the regulations of the blood pressure up to the normal. So normal blood pressure is 120 bar 80 mm azim. So that was regulated, continuously monitored or maintained by a certain centers. So those are present in the medulla oblongata and those are known as the cardiac centers or CVC. So this cardiac center, it was mainly regulate the rate of heartbeat as well as the force of contractions of the myocardiums and as well as the blood vessels. So these medulla oblongata is also consist of the medullary rhythmic area. So these are nothing but respiratory centers. So our respiration, inspiration, expiration as well as the number of breathing rate as well as depth of the inspiration. So depth of the inspiration is required for the complete filling of the lungs, completely entry of the oxygen that of with the blood exchange with the carbon dioxide. Okay, so that was depending upon the depth of the respiration. So that the depth of the respiration is or inspiration or expiration. So those are regulated by the respiratory center. Okay, and these respiratory center, so they are also known as the medullary rhythmicity area. So they are present in the medulla oblongata. So according to various stimuli from the organs or demand of the organs, so medulla oblongata, it can adjust the rate of the inspiration and rate of the expression or simply the rate of the respirations. So when your locomotion is more, then you require the more oxygen. So on that time the rate of respiration automatically increases. So when you are rest or relaxation, so on that time the cardiac demand is the decreases. So on that time our the rate of respiration is normal. So these all are regulated by the medulla oblongata. So that's why the medulla oblongata play an important role in the, to adjust the basic rhythm of the breathing, or they are involved in the regulations of the respirations and breathing. So medulla oblongata as a vital center, it also consists of the vasomotor area. So these vasomotor area, so they are mainly regulate the diameters of the blood vessel, the size of the blood vessels. So when the blood pressure increases, automatically the diameters of the blood vessel is increases. So that was helpful for to decrease the elevated blood pressure and prevent the harm on the organs. So the diameter of the blood vessels is most important to prevent the damage of the blood vessels and ruptures of the organs or vital organs. So that diameters of the blood vessels was regulated by the vasomotor area. So it is one part of the medulla oblongata, and this vasomotor area, it mainly consists of the two area, that is the vasoconstrictor area and vasodilator area. So vasodilator area, that was helpful for the to increase the size of the diameters of the blood vessels, and vasoconstrictor area, so that was helpful for to decrease the size of the diameters of the blood vessels. So with the help of these two area, so the medulla oblongata, it was involved in the regulations of the blood pressure by adjusting the diameters of the blood vessels. So like that, so medulla oblongata, so due to presence of the vital center, so it was involved in the regulations of the heart rate, blood pressure, as well as the rhythm of the respirations or rhythm of the breathing. So regarding the non-vital centers, it mainly involved in the to coordinate the swallowing. So swallowing is the main one of the mechanism. So that was helpful for the ingestions of the food from oral cavity into the esophagus into the stomach. So that property was known as the swallowings. So that was also regulated by the medulla oblongata. Okay, even the medulla oblongata, it was consist of the center that was known as the chemoreceptor trigger zone. Okay, so it was mainly involved in the regulations of the vomiting. Okay, so that vomiting occurs due to stimulations of CTZs. So any inhalations of the chemicals or entry of the unwanted substances in our GIT, we are suffering from the vomiting. Vomiting is the one of the reflex actions, a reflex function that was helpful for removal of the unwanted substance. Even in some cases of the hyperacidity or maldigestion, and that time also we are having the vomiting. So that vomiting is also regulated by the medulla oblongata because of the presence of the CTZ. So medulla oblongata, it was also involved in the regulations of the coughing. Okay, whatever a cough is there, that was helpful for the removal of the waste material from the lungs in the form of the sputums. So that phenomena was known as the coughing. So coughing is also regulated by the medulla oblongata, sneezing and hiccoughing. So these are also helpful for removal of the unwanted substance toxicants from the lungs. So that was regulated by the medulla oblongata. So that's why the medulla oblongata, it was involved in the regulations of swallowing, vomiting, coughing, sneezing, as well as the hiccoughing. So regarding the nuclei, so medulla oblongata, it was mainly consist of the five nuclei, that is the glossopharyngeal nerve nuclei for the glossopharyngeal nerve. Glossopharyngeal nerve is a cranial nerve, it denoted as the number 9. So this nerve, it can play an important role in the relay of the that is the nerve impulses related to swallowing, salivation and taste. So that nerve nuclei or controlling system, so that was present in the medulla oblongata. So due to this reason, it was involved in the swallowing, salivations and as well as the detections of the test or regulations of the test. So next one is the, it also consists of the nuclear for vestibular nerve. So this nerve, it was mainly involved in the hearing as well as the equilibrium. So that's why the medulla oblongata is also play important role in the regulations of hearing equilibrium due to presence of the nuclei for the seventh cranial nerve. So next one, it is also consist for the nucleus for the vagus nerve. It is also known as the 10th cranial nerve. It is one of the main nerve in our body that was helpful for regulations of the secretions, especially gastric secretion, saliva secretion, that was helpful for the digestions of the food in the intestine, stomach and oral cavity, as well as the vagus nerve. It is was involved in the regulations of the blood pressure, even the heart rate. Okay, so this nerve nuclei or controlling system is also present in the medulla oblongata. Okay, so regarding this nerve, it is mainly conduct the nerve impulses to and from the thoracic and as well as the abdominal viscera or vital organs. So due to that, it is involved in the regulations of the various vital functions, including the digestion, secretions, or motility, heart rate, and even the blood pressure. Okay, next one is the, it is also consist of the nuclei for the accessory nerve, that is the cranial nerve 11. So this nerve, it is helpful for to convey the nerve impulses related to head and shoulder movements. Okay, our head movements and the shoulder movements, so they are mainly depending upon the, that is the cranial nerve 11 or accessory nerve. So this nerve center was present in the medulla oblongata. So that's why the medulla oblongata is also play an important role in the regulations of the head as well as the shoulder movements. So next one, so it is also consist for the nucleus for the hypoglossal nerve, that is the cranial nerve 12. So this nerve helpful for to convey the nerve impulses regarding the tongue movements. It means the medulla oblongata that is also involved in the regulations of the tongue movements. So regarding that, so the medulla oblongata, it is having the variety of functions, but it is in the small parts of the brain. It was involved in the regulations of heart rate, force of contractions, rhythm of breathings, diameters of the blood vessels, swallowing, coughing, vomiting, sneezing, hiccuping. Even it was involved in the regulations of the thoracic and abdominal functions, as well as it was involved in regulations of hearing and equilibrium. Even it was involved in the regulations of head, shoulder, and as well as the tongue movement. So these are the various functions of the medulla oblongata. So it is one of the important parts of the brainstem. So that was control the variety of the functions. So now we discuss regarding the anatomy and physiology of the bones. So bone is also one small parts of the brainstem. Okay, it is present just above the medulla oblongata. So bones, it's mainly involved in the initiations and terminations of the respirations, because bones, along with the medulla oblongata, so pons is also involved in the regulations of the breathing, because the pons consist of the certain respiratory area, that is the apneustic area or pneumotaxic area. Apneustic area and pneumotaxic area, so they are involved in the terminations of the respirations if they are abnormal, or they are involved in the regulations of the apneusms. Okay, so those centers, so they are present in the pons. So that's why the pons along with the medulla oblongata, it was involved in the regulations of the rhythms of the breathings, are involved in the terminations of the breathings or respiration. So that's why pon is also important parts of the brain or brainstem that was helpful for the regulations of the variety of the functions. So regarding the pons is known as a bridge. Okay, because it can act as the bridge between various parts of the brain. Pons mainly acts as a bridge between the cerebral cortex and medulla oblongata. Cerebral cortex gives some motor information to the medulla oblongata. Okay, regarding the increase the activities, regarding the increase the mental activities, or many others there. So on that time, there is need to increase the rate of respiration and cardiac output. So that message reaches to the medulla oblongata. Then medulla oblongata is involved in the regulations of the breathing as well as the regulations of the blood pressure. So that connection is occurs with the help of the pons. So that's why in the Latin the pons means a bridge. Okay, the pons is the largest parts of the brain stem. So it was located above the medulla and just below the midbrain, and it is posterior to the cerebellum. The pons, it is mainly posterior to the cerebellum, or it is present below the midbrain and above the medulla oblongata. It means the pons, it is lie between the midbrain and medulla oblongata. It is the part of the brain stem, and it is also posterior to the cerebellum. So this is the cerebellum, and the pons, it is separated by the from the cerebellum by a fourth ventricle. So this is the location of the fourth ventricle. So this fourth ventricle, it can separate the pons and cerebellum. So in the Latin, the pons means the bridge because it can helpful for to create the connection between the cerebral cortex and medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata, it can control the vital organ function by communicate with the cerebral cortex according to the direction that can lay down by the cerebral cortex with the help of the pons, or the pons, it can create the bridge or connections between cerebral cortex and medulla oblongata. And pons also create the connections between cerebrum and cerebellum. So that was helpful for regulations of the locomotions, language skill, or rhythm in the certain body activities. So that was regulated with cerebellum. Cerebellum can connected with the got the motor information from the cerebrum with our cerebral cortex. So with the help of the pons. So pons also create the connections between cerebrum or cerebral cortex that are with the cerebellum. And pons is also helpful for to serve as a communications or coordination center between the two hemisphere of the brain. Okay, the pons also helpful for to create a communication between the left as well as the right hemisphere or cerebral cortex. Okay, so next one, so it is also helpful for transferring the nervous system message between the various parts of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, it is another functions, that is the pons. It is also helpful for transferring regarding the impulses or information between the different parts of the brain and as well as difference of the parts of brain. So that was interconnected with the spinal cord. So with the help of the pons. So these are the reasons. So due to that, the pons is known as a bridge. So its location is, it is present between the midbrain and medulla, and it is posterior to the cerebrum or hindbrain and separated by a fourth ventricle. It is the main parts of the or largest parts of the brain stem. So regarding the nuclei, so those are present in the pons. Pons also having the that is a four nuclei, and also it is having the nuclei for the reticular formations. So regarding the nuclei, it consists of a nuclei for the trigeminal nerve, that is the fifth cranial nerve. So this nerve play an important role in the chewing as well as sensations of the head and face. So that's why pons, it was involved regulations of chewing and the sensations of the head and as well as the face. Whatever the face sensations are there regarding the increased temperature, cold, wind. So easily we can detect. So in the outside there is a hot, in outside there is a cold. So in outside there is a more wind. Okay, so that was detected by a trigeminal nerve, and that trigeminal nerve's nuclei, so that was present in the pons. So that's why the pons play an important role in the regulations of the chewing along with the detections of the sensations regarding the head or regarding the face. So it is also consist of the nuclei for the abundance or sixth cranial nerve. So this sixth cranial nerve, it was involved in the regulations of the eyeball movements. So according to situations, so according to conditions, our eyeball movement can be present. So those eyeball movements, so that was regulated by the pons, because it is having the nuclei for the sixth canals or abducens nerve. The abducens nerve is the cardinal nerve. So that was mainly involved in the regulations of the eyeball movement. So next one, it is also having the nuclei for the, that is the facial nerve, that is the uh, seventh cranial nerve. Okay, so this facial nerve, it is mainly involved in the regulations of the taste, salivation, and as well as it was involved in the regulations of the facial expressions according to the conditions and situation. So those facial expression, taste, secretions of the saliva, so that was regulated by the facial nerve. So and the new, this facial nerve's nuclei or control system is also present in the pons. So that's why the pons is also involved in the regulations of taste, salivations, and as well as involved in the regulations of the facial expressions. As well as the pons, it consists of the nuclei for the vestibulocochlear nerve. That is the eighth cranial nerve. So this nerve mainly concerned with the equilibriums. That is the balancing the body. According to the sound, automatically your body can be balances. Okay, your ear can be hear some sound. Automatically you can go to the protection body movements. Or automatically your hand can be raises, balance your body according to some sound or anything there is. Okay, unwanted events. So accordingly, that was known as the equilibrium. So that equilibrium is regulated by the vestibulocochlear nerve. That is the eighth canal nerve. So that eighth canal nerve is also, that's nuclei was present in the pons. So that's why the pons is also play an important role in the regulations of the balancing of the body or equilibriums. Okay, the pons, it is also consist of important nuclei for the reticular formations. So regarding the pneumatic and apneustic area, so these both area, so along with the medullary rhythmic area in the medulla, so they are involved in the to control the respirations. So apneutic and pneumotaxic area, so these are the respiratory area, so they are present in the pons, so they are involved in the terminations and to control the rate of respiration. So with the help of respiratory area in the medulla, so they are involved in the to control of the respiration. So regarding the functions, so pons play the variety of the role in our body. So main is it was involved in the regulations of arousal, that is the alertness, then as well as certain autonomic functions like breathing, that was regulated by the pons. Even the pons is relaying the sensory information between the cerebrum and cerebellum. And pons is also helpful for regulation of sleep, and even it was involved in the regulation of taste, salivation, facial expression, then sensation detections of the head and face and eyeball movements, many more. But main function is it was involved in the regulations of the and control of the respiration. So these are regarding the functions and anatomy of the bones. So now we can go for the electroencephalograph. It is similar to the ECG. So ECG is concerned with the to record the electrical activities of the heart, and that is electroencephalograph, EEG, it concerned with the to record the electrical signals of the brain. So already you know the brain is consist of the structural and functional unit. So those are known as the neuron. So our brain is mainly consist of the million trillions of neuron, and each neuron, so they having the capability to generate the action potential or to generate the certain electrical signals. Okay, and each neuron per second, it can generate more than 100 electrical signals. Okay, each neuron, and our brain consists of 100 billions or millions of the neurons, and each neurons, so per second, per minute, they can generate the more than the 100 electrical signals. And generations of these electrical signals, they are depending upon the conditions of the brain, and those electrical signals, they are recorded with the help of one machine or instrument, So that instrument was known as the electroencephalograph, or also note as a EEG. So this is a machine, so it can record the brain waves, and due to recording and study of the brain waves, it was helpful for to study of the various disorder that was related to the brain. So that instrument, it can record the or composite the certain brain waves or electrical signal. So that machine was known as the electroencephalograph. So this is the electrodes. So they are putting in the different parts of the brain. So with the help of the machines and the monitor, so the doctors or radiologist, so they record the different views of the brain. So that is known as the electroencephalogram. So the machine is look like a this. So this is the typical electroencephalograph or EEG. It is a machine through which it can detect the and record the electrical signals generated by the neurons of brain. Okay, so electrical signals are also called as a action potential or brain waves. Okay, whatever the electrical signals, so they are generated from the neurons. So those are known as the action potential, are also known as a brain waves. So the brain is mainly consist of the five types of the waves: alpha waves, beta waves, theta waves, delta waves, as well as the gamma waves. The study of these waves, so they are helpful for to note down the disorders those are related to the brain. So record of such wave, that was known as the electroencephalogram. What a recorder or waves on the paper or in the monitor. So those record of waves, so that was known as the electroencephalogram or machine. So that record these waves. So that machine is known as the electroencephalograph or EEG. So due to study of these waves, so these helpful for diagnosis of the various brain disorders like epilepsy, tumors, trauma, then hematomas, any the blood clot in the brain, metabolic abnormalities, any glycogen storage disease related to the brain or any other disease, or also it is helpful for to note down the sites of trauma, and also it is helpful for to note the diagnosis the neurogenerative disorders or diseases related to the brain. That is the importance of the study of EEG or electroencephalograph or electroencephalogram. It is helpful for the diagnosis the various CNS disorders. So regarding the views, so brain mainly consists of the five views. So that is the alpha, then beta, theta, delta, and as well as the gamma views. So these are the different views. So beta views, that's the frequency is monitor is around in normal conditions. Okay, that was is the 14 to 13 hertz. So these views are recorded. So when brain is awake, normal, alert, or conscious. So you are conscious, then these views are recorded in the machine's monitor. Alpha views, its frequency is a 9 to 13 hertz. Okay, so these are recorded when physically and mentally you are relaxed, are awake but drowsiness. Certainly you have the drowsiness, but you are awake. Okay, so on that time the frequency of the brain waves is 9 to 13 waves, 13 hertz. See, they look like this, and these are known as the alpha waves. So they denote the brain is relaxed and awake, but it is the drowsy. Then next, that is the delta waves. So that's frequency is below 4 hertz, and these waves are recorded. So when the person is under the deep sleep, that was dreamless. Deep sleep is there. There is no terror or vivid dreams are there. Okay, terror, vivid dreams, that also indicates the abnormalities in the brain. So any injury in the brain, so or any problem in the brain or stress in the brain. So on that time you having the terror dreams. For example, we are going somewhere, the accident is happens, or both legs are cut down. Okay, so like that, the terror or some our relatives was die, immediately we are crying in the sleep itself on. So on that time, so these waves are recorded. If these waves are more present in the brain means, so that indicates that sleep is dreamless. Okay, that sleep is a dreamless, it is a good sleep. But the theta waves that should be frequencies 4 to 8 hertz. So these are recorded when the reduced consciousness, deep meditations, and full of dreams, light sleep, and RMS sleep. Okay, in the night time, instead of delta, if your brain recorded the theta waves like this, that denotes that person was suffering from the reduced consciousness, or it person is consist of the dreams, vivid dreams, light sleep, or RMS sleep. These all are harmful for the growth of the body, or they can denote the abnormal functioning of the brain. So that was recorded with the help of the theta waves if they are present in the more in numbers. The regarding the gamma waves, so that frequency is 13 hertz and above. So these are recorded when heightened perceptions. Heightened perceptions means, so there is no reasons for loss of consciousness. There is no reason. That example is coma. There is no reason. So why the person was go for coma, due to any brain injury or due to any deficiency of glucose. So then also the person was go for coma. So on that time the gamma waves is recorded. So it denote, so there is no defined reason for that consciousness, loss of consciousness. That was known as the heightened perception, that was denoted. So with the help of the monitoring the that is the views regarding the gamma. So like these views, so they are helpful for the to know the conditions of the brains.